Greetings, flesh creatures. It is I, Megatron. On behalf of TFYLP, I want to congratulate you for listening to the most refined collected podcast on this miserable little planet Earth. Yes. Here you'll find knowledgeable fans discussing every aspect of Transformers and beyond. Now, enjoy the show while I continue my path to complete conquest of all of you miserable biological entities. Predacons, terrorize!
Hi, welcome to TFYLP episode, is it 606, I think?
Yes, probably.
There we go. We're live tonight. It's Tuesday, December 10th. I'm Lucas. I'm joined tonight by Anna.
Good evening.
And Christian.
What up?
And Phil.
Yes.
So, welcome guys tonight. We, now that we've managed to, have some oof my wallet here earlier today. Right?
Maybe you guys did.
Oh, guess not all of us.
I feel like since the week before Thanksgiving, it's been oof my wallet.
Yeah, true.
True enough.
Well, I feel like though I've been saving money because I've been returning stuff that I bought before and then rebuying it on sale. So it's good times.
Aren't you classy?
Did that a couple times at Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
Hey man, if it's in the return
that's
window,
why you don't open your toys. You don't open it so that you can easily return it when you get it cheaper and then still not open it. 10 years later, you can sell it as vintage for 2 times as much. That'll be great.
There you go. Yeah. See, this is that big money-making scheme that I'm doing, right?
This is how we get rich with our Transformers hobby. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
We're done.
And this is how you get banned from returning things at Walmart.
We heard that you have an online show where you gave people strategies on how to rip us off.
No, it's not that. If you do have a pattern of returning things a lot, I don't know what the trigger point is, but they will. You can get banned.
They do take your ID these days.
Yeah.
Wait,
when you return stuff. Do they not at Walmart?
They didn't take my ID whenever. But I don't know. I scan it on my phone, so the receipt's on there. So I mean, they have all my information.
Yeah, that has all your info on it already.
Yeah,
yeah. If you probably just walked in without a receipt, then you would probably have your ID scanned because now they have a record of you.
Right. So.
But that's not what we're here to talk about today.
Anyway, no, we're not here to talk about that.
Today was Transformers Tuesday.
We're here to talk about prime numbers. My favorite, 17.
It's a good one.
Well, I was sitting there thinking about last week when we had the show on Wednesday night, and then I didn't actually realize that Cybertron Con was literally the next day. But I don't know. We couldn't do a show Thursday anyway, but I was like, oh man, if only we could have done it and then actually talked about all the reveals then, because the reveals today were essentially the same reveals they had there, although it was in, what was it, in China?
China,
I think. Yeah, so,
Yeah, but the reveals there came to us in blurriness level 5. Then we got some blurriness level 3. Then we kind of got to blurriness level 2. And now we can actually see them. So maybe it's good that we waited till today because we have clear product shots from all different angles from the con and from the Mark show today. So I think it's a good day to talk about them because we actually know what we're talking about as much as we ever do.
Right. Yeah, no, I will definitely say that my opinion slightly changed on several figures between then and now, just because of I could actually see Mark interacting with the figures versus, it being on a blurry potato screen or whatever. So
it must have been Mark's terrific sales pitch.
Absolutely. Mark.
I really enjoy Mark. I enjoy what he's done for the brand over the years, but he really needs another person on camera with him. He needs someone to talk to. He's not a salesman. I felt like him having to do the sales pitch on today's show was it was awkward.
I guess I'll have to watch that. Or maybe I'll just
skip it if you didn't watch it.
And just maintain my image of him.
I mean,
I don't think it was that bad.
He's very Mark, but he also has to. So, he still gives his oh man, I'm so excited because this one has fingers style excitement that he always has. But then he also repeated about 400 times, you have to collect them all. You must get them all. You need to collect them all to build Superion. And then you should talk to your collector buddies and make theories at your collector get-togethers. And it was just okay, dude, this is not your area.
We're having a collector get-together right now.
I know. And we're probably going to do exactly what he told us to do.
Yeah, we're doing the thing.
And throw around theories about which primes are related to which characters. That's what he said we were going to do in our collector buddy get-togethers.
He did expressly say that Prima is related to Armada Red Alert.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what?
I know what that means.
Yeah, I didn't see the thing either. So I'm
not much.
What does that even mean?
I looked at their boxes. There was nothing that I could see that would be oh, look, it's the Descendants. So I don't know. I don't know what it means. He said it's a thing, and then he said this one in particular is a thing. And then he sort of alluded to Solus Prime being the progenitor for all female Transformers, which I feel like is odd, but probably accurate, I guess.
To me, it's all right, that's Nautica.
Related to Micronus.
Are they saying that because they have a tendency to reuse the female molds 5 billion times? So they're like, all right, if they're all Descendants, we can just rerun the same mold 10 times.
What's the deal with Red Alert and Prima? I don't know.
What's the deal with Wasp or Fugitive Waspinator in Micronus? Bugs are small?
Are they related? Did he say that?
Yeah.
Okay, I missed that one.
You could trace his lineage back to Micronus.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
No, and see, we're all supposed to spend hours upon hours discussing which of the which Transformers figures, right, or characters are descendants of which prime.
Okay.
You get it right, figures, because we don't get fiction with these toy lines.
Yeah.
I know, you gotta give me something to chew on, or else I'm just, whatever. Okay.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get something to chew on. It's not gonna be much. So one thing that was kind of interesting, and I can't remember if this is new or not, and Christian will know immediately. Do we usually get a intro video for new toy lines? Because we get that little intro video with these are the most powerful bots ever
that was cool.
narration for
No,
Age of
but
the Primes. It was interesting.
So they did release that video separately
Yes.
as a separate video.
Trailer is what they call it.
Yeah,
I said intro, but it was trailer.
But at the same time, I think this is the first time where we're really getting something new that doesn't have a lot of the fiction behind it, being that these are G1 characters, reissues, or the Rock Lord wannabes that were in the Legacy line. Those figures were more I don't know, not as main part. The theme of this is part of a fiction that's not been delved into much when it comes to Transformers lore. So I think having that kind of trailer out there does give it something, that gives it some fiction,
some credibility.
No, what it was that they're like, all right, with all this, we really need a cartoon, and Mark pitched that, and the higher ups at Hasbro was like, all right, best I can do is a little intro video that's 60 seconds. How about that?
And all we're gonna do is just move the box art around to make it look like it's animated.
It's not actually going to be animated.
No.
It's some intern did it. I shouldn't disparage whoever did the animation or whatever, but
No, because it's fine.
it's like
Yeah, it doesn't look
whoever
bad.
did it as a weekend project or something like that instead of actually like hiring an animation studio.
Yeah.
It was Cox. Cox himself made it.
That sounds
He's
right.
like, you know what? I just like to get in the weeds with my employees and sometimes just do their job for a day, just to see all aspects of this company.
Yep, that sounds right.
Insider humor, making jokes about the people who run the companies we buy the toys of.
Yay.
I, once again, am a little upset that this Cybertron Con thing exists. Not so much that it exists in a vacuum. Like, I think it's great, more Transformers cons. But how is it that Hasbro, which is a subsidiary, can make this giant convention and mainland Hasbro can't get their crap together to give us one? I mean, really.
Yeah.
And the answer is because no one over there wants to do it, and they keep doing layoffs of the people who want to do it. And like that's what the answer is. Like, come on. It's been what, 9 years since BotCon was over? Like,
I think
let's
that
do
they I think that they could have a successful show if they would have it at the scale of a BotCon. But unfortunately, when they tried it the first time, they like tried to make this like huge trade show, and
yeah, that was dumb.
that just didn't work. So I think that they could definitely do that. I think the other problem too is just getting to Rhode Island is somewhat difficult. I mean, it's not that bad.
They could
like,
hold it literally anywhere in the United States.
Right. But that's what like if they actually had it in, whatever,
Oh, you're
Philadelphia,
saying that
New
HasCon
York, or
was dumb
something
because we had to
like
get to
that.
Rhode Island. Yes.
Right. Like, so.
And the pricing for it was dumb, and the guests were
yeah.
dumb.
No,
Remember how much it
'cause
cost? It was
wasn't the
like
pricing
$600 for the weekend, and there were no exclusions that you got, and then they were giving it away on like Groupon for $30 the week before. It's like, come on, guys.
crazy? Right. Yeah.
So maybe I
don't
don't
know.
want those people running a convention.
Did they do 1 year or 2?
One.
Oh, no.
Okay.
It was
One.
one.
That's
Oh.
it wasn't. I thought there was like talk of them doing a second, and then they like
There
bailed
was.
on it. Yeah.
They did.
Yep. But we still get the exclusive permit, right? Even though they canceled the show.
No.
I thought they called it. Sorry, I made up that fiction.
So,
I think
how big was that
I think you're putting
Cybertron
three
con?
things
Do we
together.
know?
Because there was the RC and the Grotesque and the Punch and the Blast Off. That was like the collector's club thing that didn't happen. That was supposed to launch in HasCon, and then didn't happen, and then just went to Amazon. I think it's that.
Okay.
I don't know. It was
I don't know how big that con in China was.
big.
Yeah.
Bigly.
So there you go. I guess that's the main market for Hasbro, right? Is China, probably, more than likely.
I mean, it's a growing market more so than the U.S. is.
And maybe that's what it is, right? They can count on us, con or no con. They can count on whatever's happening in Europe, sort of. Those guys are weird, I think. But, I mean, that's a locked-in market, too, much smaller than us. I guess if they're going to attack a market, it's going to be over in China.
Mark can just tell us, you have to collect them all.
He will
we'll
tell
do
me I
it.
have to collect them all, and then I will do so.
Yeah.
I must consume.
Yeah, not all of us will, though.
So who are we collecting?
Yeah,
Well,
that's the question.
One thing I will say is I feel like watching the stream, and I don't know if you agree with me, I feel like that Mark was the least excited about Superion. That kind of like your comments that he was saying where he's like, oh, you really have to like collect all the, all the limbs and, kind of thing. That in Silverbolt, that he, like, I feel like he just didn't have anything exciting to really say about him. And so, like, instead he was just trying to say, like, oh, this is super exciting. Collect them all.
So if you read the post, and I can't remember if Mark specifically wrote the post or it's a Hasbro post, but it describes each of the characters, right? It gives them a little like explanation, and it's like Solus is the forger, and she's really cool or whatever. And when it gets to Silverbolt, it's like, he's this like cool leader or whatever description of him, and it sounds like a pretty stereotypical Silverbolt description. When it gets to both of the Limbots, it literally just says is an integral part of Superion. This figure is a part of Superion. This makes a limb for Superion. It doesn't talk about their personalities or what they do or their abilities or anything. It's just like, hey, this is a limb. And so is this one. Cool.
But like outside of Slingshot and Silverbolt in the G1 cartoon, did any of the other 3 aerial bots have a personality?
You could really argue that most of the Limbots didn't really get personalities in G1.
Yeah. I mean, Technobot's got some decent delineation. Yeah.
So let's jump into Silverbolt, or not Silverbolt, but Superion, the aerial bots. Let's just jump in to them because we know that's the big thing from this, right? We get to see our second legacy and forward combiner, right? We get to see that how they're going to approach this. And I think we all expected that every third, you're counting the Dinobot thing?
I'm counting Devastator.
Oh, well.
Studio series.
I knew someone would say it if I didn't.
But and also to Anna's point, it's a different transformation scheme.
Fine. Okay. Anna,
let me finish my thought,
I apologize for interrupting you. Please go do it.
So let me finish my thought here. I just wanted to say that I think we all expected for Superion and anybody else, Defensor or Bruticus or whatever, to combine more like the G1 toys, to combine more like the Combiner Wars toys, to have, limb that plugs into shoulder hole, limb that plugs into shoulder hole, limb that plugs into knee hole. And that's not what we got. Instead, we got a Minosaur-style skeleton body out of Silverbolt, which I think comes as some surprise and some not surprise. Like maybe some people were expecting it because of the commander price point on Silverbolt. So it's like, how is he going to be worth $90? Just by putting some hands and feet in a box? I don't think so. But by giving you a whole combiner skeleton makes him worth it. And I think this was a move that really surprised me because I don't think of Superion as looking like that, right? I think of Superion as looking like the Combiner Wars look, the way it's drawn in the comics and whatnot, and the way the G1 Combiner toy looked. I don't usually think of the animation model. That's like the big thing that surprised me because I'm sure watching or looking at the reveals over the last few days, a lot of people, including myself, I started calling it Superisaur instead of Superion because it looks like Superion built as Minosaur. And a lot of people were complaining, like, why is Superion looking like this? Why did they just, did they repaint Minosaur? All sorts of silly comments. But then I went back and actually looked at the animation model. And that's actually what Superion looked like in, the little bit that he shows up in the G1 cartoon. That's actually how it's drawn. It's actually drawn as, a skeleton that comes out of nowhere, basically, that has holes for the 2 leg guys and little platters for the 2 arm guys to fit on. Pretty much exactly like Minosaur. The difference being that, the actual toys didn't really reflect this at all. I just thought that was interesting, right? That kind of surprised me to think that not only did, I get surprised by how it combines, but then by, just being reminded that my child brain never really encoded, this is the way it looked like on the show, because it hasn't really looked like that since then. Minosaur's kind of kept the look, but Superion really hasn't.
Yeah, and even the Marvel comic had that same animated look that from the animation model that the cartoon did. Superion is a character that has what would you say? Probably number 2 to Devastator in terms of versions that we've received of him.
Bruticus is probably.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
Bruticus, you're right, with the fall
And
of
then
Cybertron.
Superion probably, but yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of ways to sort of gum up you. And when I say that, I mean Scramble City, because then you've got Devastator in there as well. But there's just a lot of versions to kind of scramble your brain around in terms of what is it you expect to see. I don't know. I think, to me, I don't think it looked bad in the same way that maybe other people thought it looked bad. I thought it looked decent. It just it feels almost like Kabaya kit level plastic quality, though. Like, maybe not that cheap, but it feels maybe it's the lighting that they're using in some of those photos where it's so just like, I don't know, it looks kind of dull to me in terms of the like not dull in terms of boring, but dull, like the plastic has just this sort of like bleh look to it.
See, and that's where I felt like watching the stream today that I changed my mind more on Superion than the others, because the way that it came off on the product shots and some of the other stuff, there was like a pretty, like the background was pretty white and all that, and it's just like you were looking at all these figures and you're like, man, there's just a lot of white here, or cream, or whatever you might call the various colors. And it looked somewhat bland or whatever on the stuff. But then when Mark had it today on the stream and it was actually interacting with it, I thought that it looked immensely better than what it had before. And I was like, okay, this actually looks decent to me. So, yeah, I thought it was kind of night and day a little bit for me as far as for the Superion. So...
yeah, of the Scramble City style combiners, he's probably the most uniform in color. His color scheme, while not each individual jet having the exact same color scheme, there's a lot of uniformity to the colors that are used. Maybe Skydive with his gray and black being the most different. But again, that adds for like a homogeneous look that on one hand could be neat, but if you don't do it right, then it means all of it kind of looks bleh. And I think the product shots especially made it just look a little bleh. And that is a scientific art technical term.
Yeah, I think it's the lighting in the background, like Lucas said. I know my mind got changed on Prima. I was always going to get him because it's Prima. Like, I'm doing that, and that's what we're doing, and it's fun. But, like, he was very washed out in those shots from Cybertron Con over the weekend. And then you see, like, the product shots, and you see, I saw a little bit of the stream where he's in. It's like, oh, he has actually got a lot more colors and a lot more variation. Yeah, he's primarily white, but he's got, like, the grays and the different tones. It's much better than I originally thought.
Right. Well, and I feel like kind of going back to Superion that, I know we were kind of speculating for a while that they were essentially going to do a Minosaur, like styled type of one. I actually don't feel like that it looks that bad in plane mode, all connected. Uh-oh. We lost Anna.
Anna left.
So...
I kind of like that Silverbolt is the Concorde by himself and then attaches to, like, the scramjet, I'm going to call it.
Right.
Booster, whatever, the other nonsense. And I think that looks okay. It looks ripe for yellowing, but I'm hoping that's just preliminary plastic. And it does seem like they've addressed the yellowing problems.
Did Mark comment on the live stream that you'll be able to swap in Minosaur components so that this still will retain a Scramble City mechanic?
I think you can flip, like, the legs and the arms, right? Or can you not?
But will you be able to take Minosaur components and put them into the Minosaur legs and put them on Superion legs and arms to Superion arms? Because that might be another reason why they're continuing with that engineering gimmick or style for the combiners.
I'm still holding out hope that that's a thing between at least the aerial bots and the Combaticons, so that Nexus Prime can exist that way. Although Evan posted something this weekend that makes me question that. He indicated that all of the 13 are going to be new molds except for Vector Prime. because we got him. He's getting package refreshed, and he'll be what we already got. But if Nexus Prime is a new mold, and a new mold, singular, then does that mean he's a one dude, or is he combining, or I don't know. I'm not suspicious.
They've not been 100% honest with us before about some of this information, so
that's true. I don't know.
Yeah, apparently Anna's computer died, so
right.
I don't know if she can just use her phone. I guess I could ask her if she wants to do that.
Well, I like Superion, but I think he was not as necessary as like a Defensor would be. Looks like Bruticus is coming, so that's cool. But like, I think Defensor needed it next after Menasor, because Combiner Wars Superion is pretty good. Yeah, I went through and attempted to sell some combiners and be like, okay, these are not going to work, and Superion didn't make the cut because he's still good. I'm happy with Computron as well, so whatever.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, the first two combiners they did in Combiner Wars was also Superion and Venusaur, right? I think Venusaur was the second one, right? So yeah. I mean, they're kind of following similar order. So.
Oh, and that's the order of appearance in the G1 cartoon as well.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I was just hoping for Defensor first because that hotspot mold has aged poorly.
Right.
Oh, absolutely. And I really hope we don't get a Defensor. To me, is going to be a really big test of this style and these toys, because like I don't want another just bunch of repaints and remolds of the Combaticons.
That'll happen. I just don't. I really don't.
I don't know, man. It's just like, helicopter and helicopter, or ambulance could be a Jeep, and it's just there's so many places where you could just.
Yeah, but I think even if you do like a Vortex into Blades thing, it'll be remolded enough where it'll be like, okay, these are actually different people. If they won't do just repaints like they did. Now, if we get a Selects Alpha Bravo that's just a repaint and maybe a new head, I'd be kind of happy with that.
I actually would dig that, yeah.
Yeah, but I think for the actual, legacy type characters, that they will do enough remolding to differentiate them. They have so far with everything in the legacy line, so there's no reason to doubt now.
I mean, he won't fit with the combiners, but if they do Ruckus repaint into, what was his name for Combiner Wars Menasor?
His Canadian name, Grabouge.
Okay.
It's a French Canadian name.
Yeah. Would you want to get that?
No, I already have a Ruckus.
Okay.
I'd get an off-road.
Thank you. Yes, off-road.
Okay. Yes, you're saying if they repaint Ruckus into off-road. Yes.
Yeah, since now we have a Ruckus, would you get off-road?
Yeah. Those two are wreckers, so yeah.
Okay.
I have a wrecker special interest.
My question is going to be, like, are they going to do all the Combiner Wars, or all the combiners in this style? Like, are they all going to be
how many is all?
Menasor style? Like,
that's
whatever
what I
ones
was
they do
too.
going forward other than Devastator.
How many
so
is
all Scramble City?
Yeah, I guess
I still have
Scramble City,
concerns over Guard City and Battle Gaia.
Yeah.
There's a difference
doubling up on Combaticons to make sure I get Battle Gaia this time.
I think what Lucas means by all is all the body types, right? So the Combaticons body type, the Computron body type, the Defensor body type, are they going to shove them all into the skeleton that wears Combiner Lens format?
Yeah, I think so.
You think so?
It
Even
fills
though
up the
that
Combiner
wouldn't
price point for the next couple years, which is nice.
That wouldn't be animation accurate, though, would it? Like, Bruticus and Defensor don't look like that, I don't think.
Let's look. I don't know offhand.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
I'm
look.
wondering too.
I don't know if they look exactly, but
Feel
probably close
prepared
enough.
tonight.
Probably close enough.
I don't think close enough is good enough though, because Superior
Bruticus,
really did
no.
look like
Bruticus
that.
does not look like that.
Neither does Defensor. I just looked him up, so we
Okay.
teamed it.
What about
But I
Computron?
can see. I mean, I can see with them coming up with something that's similar for both Defensor and Bruticus. That's not like I'm thinking Computron is probably going to follow the same like route.
Yeah,
But who knows? It's hard to say.
He's more like Bruticus and Defensor.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I think
Right.
Yeah, I mean, Defensor is standing on Groove and Streetwise. Like they are distinct lower
Bruticus
half of
is
the
the
legs.
same with Swindle and Brawl. So
yeah, they're
I mean,
much more like the toy than what we got out of Superion and Menasor toys.
Yeah, Superior and Menasor have blocks with planes and cars on them. I don't know. That's an interesting question. I think you could do a lot with the body bots having the extra skeleton bits, because Onslaught in G1 toy has that base mode, and I think you could do a lot with an extra accessory piece for him to make that base mode just for that. Is that the combiner bits? Is it a skeleton? I don't know, but I think you could enhance all those base mode type things.
Zaldron pointed out too that you can turn the legs around, so like they could do something where they're on the front instead of the back or whatever, but they're still maintaining that leg thing.
The thing that I really like about the skeleton is that it solves the individual members being burdened with the combiner problem.
Right.
You can have fully functional bots that transform from robot to alt mode, and they look good in all those modes because they don't have to sacrifice for the combiner. The skeleton does it for you. Right. And yeah, it's not ideal. In an ideal world, you have all built-in combiners like PinMC's doing, but that's not what we get.
I mean, shoot, like you see, what was it? Was it Zeta and some of the other Masterpiece combiners like have fake pants, right?
The shorts, yeah.
Yeah, so
the jorts.
Like, I mean, if
Cutoffs.
Masterpiece, third party or whatever level ones are essentially cheating, why not do the same thing? At least they're trying to make an effort with making some type of base out of it that can still combine whatever. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think it was decent what they did for Silverbolt.
The real question is this Silverbolt a remold of Combiner Wars Silverbolt?
Oh.
I'm going to go with yes, because everything since Silverbolt has been a retool of Silverbolt.
It's Legacy Silverbolt.
Oh no, are they retooling from him now?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Everything's done.
Everything is Silverbolt.
And you know what he is?
Kitty, wolf, bear, eagle things.
You know what the Legacy Silverbolt is, right? He's cake.
You know what's really wacky? For a brief time next year, the last retool of Combiner Wars Silverbolt and the new Age of the Prime Silverbolt will be on shelves at the same time. Think, Phil. Think, Lucas. Anna got it.
Cyclonus?
No, what are you alluding to?
The dramatic capture mainframe.
He's a remold of Silverbolt?
Uh-huh.
Huh.
Surprise.
Yeah. Maybe I did know that.
And look at him. I don't think anybody around here has ever said it out loud.
He is, though. Or,
yeah, he legitimately is
sharing all of the engineering.
A legit retool of Silverbolt.
A legit retool of Silverbolt.
So I have a question about this Age of the Prime. So they were mentioning about it being in 25 and 26, right? So they brought that up at the end of the thing or whatever. Is this line a year long like the other ones? It just happens to go into first quarter of 2026, Or is this one legitimately they're stretching it out into like 6 waves or whatever or something?
It's 2
Sounds
years.
like
They have
legit
to get
2
the
years.
13 primes.
Okay. Interesting.
They may call it something else, when they do the yearly thing. We don't know that yet.
Right. Gotcha.
Fall of the primes. Who knows?
Winter of the primes, spring of the primes,
Mm-hmm.
seasonal.
Gotcha.
I think we speculated on names last week, and
Yeah, we
said
did.
something cool.
Yeah. Heirs of the primes.
So
Have you
which
been exploring?
prime that they showed off was your favorite?
Solus.
Megatronus.
Yeah, I mean Megatronus. I mean, although they've shown Megatronus to us before, but still,
Yeah.
that's a beast of a toy right there.
It looks neat.
Yeah,
I think all 3 of them look neat so far.
I'm gonna get all 3. The Solus one, I think Mark's pictures that he put on Instagram kind of sold that figure for me a bit more. But yeah, they all have their own personality, which is neat to see.
Well, the other thing that I'm actually impressed with is that all of these are supposedly have Cybertronian mode, like, vehicle modes, right? But they actually look decent.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's one thing, I mean, we've talked about it a million times with, what the heck was before Earthrise? It was Siege. Yeah, Siege.
Mm-hmm.
How, I don't know, like, I was annoyed by all the Cybertronian modes. I thought they looked stupid and not Cybertronian enough. Like, I actually think these look pretty neat.
I still think the problem with Siege was that they were too close to Earth.
Yeah.
And then that did the Earth and invalidated an entire year's worth of product.
Yeah.
These guys don't have, except Megatronus, have typically defined alt modes. And they're supposed to be very old unless they're somehow traveling to the future. So, they should have Cybertronian modes. And they should look like whatever because they're not going to Earth.
Right.
Yeah, but I think the difference here is that there's sort of a almost Floro-Deary sort of aesthetic with these that I find more than I do with what they did with War for Cybertron and Siege War for Cybertron. Siege War for Cybertron was more of where these are from space. We got to make them kind of look futuristic, but a lot of the stuff with Floro-Deary from the designs from Transformers the movie is that they both look futuristic but greebly. Like Hot Rod was sleek and Blur was kind of sleek, but the rest of them all sort of had like a lot of, just mechanical detail aspects to them. And these guys have, more of that than anything we got from Earthrise Siege. I'm sorry, War for Cybertron Siege.
Right.
What a callback.
Well, I mean,
Prime was using a Deary head, I think. I think that's who designed that, probably.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, obviously, Prime, his alt mode is very reminiscent of Cup, and so maybe that's what is, triggering that for me more so than anything. But it just, I don't know, his designs felt more lived in, like real practical sort of vehicles versus the siege alt modes felt more concept car art. Like the Datsuns all very much look like something you'd see at an auto show in terms of like a concept car. Yeah, same thing with Sideswipe, and Red Alert, same kind of thing. They looked like, and I think, Christian, to your point, the fact that they knew they were going to remold these into Earth cars that's what you got. You got cars that look like a kind of futuristic thing of like an actual car we have today versus Solus Prime. Like, okay, she looks like some kind of like cab to a semi truck big rig, but it's not anything you're going to see on a street these days or anything like that. It's very out there and alien, and I don't know, if anything, Megatronus probably looks the most like a actual Earth tank.
Well, the funny thing is given that in talking through this, I kind of feel like the Superion doesn't really fit with this line. Like, I actually
No.
think that he should be more in the Studio Series line, and whatever that thing is now down to what 3 waves, and they have to share it amongst whatever. So like, I don't think that they could fit another combine. Like, they already have a combiner coming out in Studio Series, so but yeah, like I don't know if Superion really fits, like, because his style is so like cartoon accurate, and these are like don't have to be, like, obviously there's no cartoon to be accurate too.
Did you see how they made him fit based on the box art?
Oh no, I didn't. I may have missed that. What did?
Okay. Do you remember how Superion got built or whatever, and the Aerobots went back in time and met Alpha Trion?
Yeah.
They're like,
Oh.
you see the Aerobots flying over the golden Cybertron. They're going back in time to the age of the Primes.
How do I fit, Christian?
How does Wasp fit? I don't know. Sorry, Wasp.
Yeah.
The name is Fugitive Waspinator. Thank you. Bye.
That is odd, but I think that's what he was supposed to be called in the animated line anyway. So fine, I guess. It's pretty much.
It just feels like, Autobot Jazz, but Fugitive Waspinator. It just sounds funny.
I really was hoping he would use his Autobot colors and not his later Decepticon colors, and maybe we'll get that in the pack somewhere. I think those are a little bit more interesting because they're not the normal Waspinator colors, but I'm not complaining. He'll exist.
I've got a Studio Series multi-pack idea for Superion. A Studio Series Return of Optimus Prime, all red Superion.
Sure, I think a hate plague thing needs to happen.
Yeah,
I think it won't. Okay. No one's gonna buy that capsule. Like, Amazon, everything is red. Okay.
I mean, hey, they got
is all red.
Entertainment Earth to do the Gold Lagoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
those didn't show up on clearance shelves at all. Totally.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
I think,
especially when you do an MP, that's.
I don't think you would get a hate plague combiner. I think you might get a hate plague something. One
item. Yeah. So I wanted to say that I forgot my train of thought because I couldn't get it out so many times. Dang.
Sorry.
Too bad. Oh well. Oh, I wanted to say that I think it's good, even though we have a theme that with this line, that we're also still sneaking in some generation stuff. Because none of us really wants the overall generations thing to end. Like, we don't want there not to be a new Armada figure, right? Like, get another Armada figure in there. We get Red Alert. We're happy. That's good. Get an animated throwback in there with Waspinator, Wasp, Fugitive, whatever. That's good too. And yeah, they don't really fit the theme for this year other than being like, they're descendants of the Primes, sure. But it keeps Generations going, right? Generations has always been this kind of mishmash of whatever old stuff we're bringing back and making it new. And we do that along with this whole Primes lack of story that we're getting. So I think it's fine. I think I want it to keep happening this way, and I don't need a reason for them to be there so much.
We're going to be seeing more of that too. I mean, I think that whatever the leaks or whatever showed off.
Not even the leaks. Skybite and Heatwave are up next in the Voyagers.
Mm-hmm. Right. But then,
I wasn't rolling my eyes at you. I'm rolling my eyes at the lack of story still.
Oh, I know.
Right.
Okay, you and I agree on this. Like, not having story for the toy line is just. It's really annoying because it's like, why are we not getting that? Why are we not keeping kids in our toy buying audience? Well, we don't link the fiction to the product, so I don't know. Maybe that's a problem, but I would rather
bios, back of the box bios that tells something.
Yeah, not just a line, but an actual bio.
Whatever.
Legacy had barely any, fiction to it, so it's not like this is.
No, it didn't.
It's not new. It's just something we're still lamenting years later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we haven't really had fiction for a while, and maybe it's Siege's fault, right? Maybe Siege is the reason we don't have fiction anymore.
No, it's now you don't have to produce multiple language boxes.
Yeah, it's been for a while.
I was gonna say that I would rather have a random combiner tossed into every line or tossed into every series for a while instead of a random take apart guy. Because I have enjoyed 2 of the series of take apart guys. I enjoyed the fossilizers and the rock people. Like, those are fun to me. I'm kind of tired of the take apart feature. I didn't need fossilizers to come apart. I needed transforming skeletons. That's pretty cool. I didn't need rock people to come apart. I needed transforming rock formations. That's pretty cool. But the whole taking apart thing I think the concept of a weaponizer, take him apart and put him on your guys thing is really cool, but it never looked good. Like, if they would have made them look, even with the first set when, you had like 6-gun and stuff, it was passable and that was about it. But especially, the fossilizers were the worst. Like, they didn't look like anything when you put them on 100%. People. They didn't even look like they were wearing like, Mad Max style Armageddon outfits or anything. They just looked like you were putting parts of another toy on them. So I think if it looked good, it would be fine to do the take apart and make weapons, but it doesn't. Like, these guys, I don't even feel like, what does this arm do? It's an arm.
Right. Well, and at least with the Junkions, like, you're like, okay, that kind of makes sense. A little bit, right? They're like made out of junk, but these guys.
Yeah, they got their crash dummy scene.
Point? Right.
So they fly apart, so it homages that. That's kind of cool. I think that's about it.
We're not the target audience for that gimmick. My boys love it.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's good. I'm glad they have a little more creativity than I do, because I usually consider myself a borderline creative person, but geez, I just don't see anything when I take these apart.
Yeah, no, my kids, and like sometimes it's not even like take them apart and put them on other guys. It's more like just mix and match between the rock guys and
that can be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like building monsters out of them, like putting them all together to make it scary. The Junkosaurus kind of looks silly, but doing something like a Junkosaurus is kind of fun. Doing something with your fossilizers where you make a horrible centaur and put it on your shelf for several years, that was fun. But I just think the gimmick is...
I'm done.
I'm okay with that gimmick going away. Yeah. Also, all of mine get loose.
Anna, you accused me of something before the show, and I think you're actually a little more right than I wanted you to be.
I know.
In that I want these take-apart dudes to be characters somehow, but without fiction, they're nothing. They're absolutely nothing. Why are the skeletons coming to life? Where did these rock things come from?
For our viewers, I was accusing Christian of not liking new characters because he was a G1er. And that's not entirely accurate, because he really does enjoy getting the characters from Earthspark that are new and interesting and fun. He's all about those, but they're characters with personalities and fictions and backgrounds. I had to collect these darn rock people, knowing that they would never even get Rock Lord analogs officially. They wouldn't get anything. They're just rock transformers that aren't going to get fiction. And since our current running comic is pure G1 all day, they're not even going to get put in the comics like back in the IDW runs when they just get background cameos and stuff. We're not going to get that because it's pure G1 all day. These guys are just going to be forgotten to history. That's a bummer. That means
they won't be the first Transformer that is forgotten for decades.
No, but in 10 years, when you have it on your shelf and someone asks you, who's that guy? You have to be like, well, he's a rock person that turns into a truck thing. And never got fiction.
We're going to be in trouble, or at least I'm going to be in trouble if TF Wiki gets taken down at some point in the future, right? Because I'm going to be like, hold on, I lost those instructions. I have no idea what that guy's name is.
With these guys, for sure, right? Because they're just not going to get any fiction for us to internalize it.
Yeah. Yeah, I have no idea the guy that you're holding what his name is.
Name's Calcitron.
Calcitron.
Or their name is Calcitron.
Yeah, I don't think Calcitron even got enough press to get a gender. I think
I mean,
Calcitron is
Calcitron, Star Raider, right?
Mm-hmm.
It comes in the box with other Star Raiders, so I assume it is.
Yeah.
Has a Star Raider symbol
in the
somewhere
future,
on it, I think.
I'm gonna have to do the thing like how
I'm
people
sure
will
that's
put it up
true.
and ask like what weapon this goes to of a figure. Like I'll have to throw a figure up like online in the groups and say, hey, who is this? Oh, it's Calcitron. Okay, cool. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Luckily, I don't think you'll get confused on that because it's so blue and rocky.
It's pretty. It's nice to have a return to Allspark Blue. That's nostalgic for me from the 07 movie line. But again, it's nothing. Did he get exposed to the Allspark? I don't know. Why does it have a head that looks like those things in Headmasters? It doesn't make any sense.
Why does Nucleon look like he's like a Transformers Pope? Who knows?
Maybe he is the Transformers Pope.
Could be.
So let me ask you guys, what did you guys think about Star Optimus Prime? Is that his name?
Star Convoy, new name.
No, it's not Star Convoy. It's Star Optimus Prime.
I know.
I have to leave in 5 minutes, so can I do a rant about it first?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So they have made Star Optimus Prime the 13th Prime. This is not the first time that Optimus has been the 13th Prime, but I think it's really stupid when they do that. Because all the Primes are old. Optimus is not that degree of old, or else the Orion Pax or Optronic stories do not make sense. And sometimes they're like, oh, he was just 13 and he was put in stasis and flung forward to the future or whatever. No, it's bad. So, I like Star Convoy. He's going to be cool. Nice that he has a base mode. But I'm waiting for that Cybertron Soundwave that's supposed to be coming out in the next 18 months or so to get a black repaint and join the 13 Primes as Logos Prime, because that's the school that I study. The end. By Christian.
4 Locos Prime?
No. Locos hangs out with, what, Fangry? Yeah. Squeeze Play? One of the two.
Thank you, Christian. We appreciate
Christian, before
that.
you leave, who, if anything, did you order today?
All of them.
Okay.
Go get them.
I think we did mention, or Christian, you said that you thought this was one of the strongest waves that we've seen, and I pretty much ordered all of them too. So, which I did not do, in the last year, with wave 1 of whatever the hell we're on.
Yeah, I like that there's combiner bits. I like that Wasp is there. I like that Red Alert is there. The Primes excite me to no end. Star Convoy is cool, and I'm excited for the new Titan price point to be very big guys instead of huge guys.
Yep.
I think there's a lot of things to come out of very big guys, and we were kind of running low on huge guys. So, yeah, bring them on.
But did you order Blue Booster and Fox Talisman Madoodle?
I did not.
You missed out.
I did.
Sonic fans in the household? Yourself included?
Don't have any Sonic fans in the
I should
household.
show them to my kids and see if they like the Sonic guys.
My boys,
likes them.
I showed the little trailer that they did and showed the pictures of the figures of the boys. They were excited. It's good timing. You got the Sonic 3 about to hit theaters, so there's a lot of Sonic hype in the air right now.
Right.
There is. Yep.
I'd agree. Yeah, and the Sonic guys
and
actually
Sonic's
look pretty good
again.
too. Yeah.
Look, all
Yeah, we
right.
don't have too many biplane alt modes, so that's fun to see.
No, I actually want the Tells, but I don't want the Sonic. Who's gonna want to split that set?
I mean, I'll do that just because I'll talk to you offline.
Sure. But Christian, any last words you want to drop before I said last words? Any last thoughts you want to share?
They could be my last words. Who knows?
No, please
I
don't.
talked about Titans. I talked about Primes that I'm excited about. My worries about Nexus. My lamentations about fiction. You watched the stream, right, Anna? Did Silverbolt's soap problem get solved with the in-person models?
It's, Lucas said it too. It looked different on the camera with Mark. I also noticed, though, when he was showing off Fugitive Waspinator, that the colors were excessively vibrant on that stream. Like they were intensely vibrant. So I don't know if those will be true to life colors or if those are a little jazzed up for filming. So
Or the
we'll
film
see.
setting was off.
Right. And it could just be that, like, they did a really good job and they actually got the true to life colors to come out. Or it could be that, it's not going to look exactly like that. So I'm not sure. It didn't look like soap plastic for most singles on that. But then when they showed the Superion and rotated it, I could see some of that soapy near translucence in it. So I think it might still be there. It definitely looked better.
Okay.
And looking at it, I definitely realized that I want that Silverbolt toy. I'm just hoping that they do it in blue.
I would like that. I hope they figure out what to do with Motormaster, and then they can figure out what to do with Silverbolt.
Oh, like we actually get Motormaster to come on and complete the G2?
That's right, and also Wild Rider, but
That would be nice.
one step at a time.
Right.
Hopefully 2 steps at a time. Hurry up.
I don't know.
Yeah, for real.
I personally don't care that much about a G2 Superion, but like I actually would think it'd be kind of neat if they did some kind of shattered glass or just whatever. Do some kind of wild colors, or even how Takara Tomy did what the heck did Takara Tomy do? Like some weird, what was the female combiner they did instead of
Megatronia?
Megatronia. Yeah. Like do something like that where it's just like off the wall colors.
Yeah, when you mentioned that the other day in our group chat, I was like, what other colors have the aerial bots ever had? And the closest I could come up with is the Decepticon 6-wing. And that's not the aerial bots, that's something different, but you could maybe incorporate that in there.
Ah, but a Megatronia made of planes, that would be cool. I'd go for that.
Unfortunately, I have to leave you all now, but I hope you enjoy the rest of this episode, and I'll talk to you later.
See you. See you soon.
Bye.
Yeah.
So yeah, Annie, the question is how much did you order?
Solus,
that's it. So the other ones, are you thinking about picking up anything else, or are you just like pretty much like, oh no, it's
Superior? I'm gonna let you guys review for me. I'm gonna let you guys get it because I don't like it. I don't like how it looks in combined mode at all. I think the airplane modes for the Lembots are too animation accurate to the point where they look silly. And I think the combined mode is animation accurate to the point where it looks silly because the planes can't actually crush down as much as they do in the animation. So therefore you just have some giant wings popping off on the back of the legs that I think looks kind of But if you all enjoy the figure and it comes out in G2 colors, I'll probably go for it. I at least would like to have that Silverbolt toy because that plane with the trailer on its butt is so stupid looking that I want it. Like, you know how I love really ridiculously dumb things, and that is a ridiculous. It looks so silly. With like, ooh, here's a like legitimate looking plane with a robot underneath, and then just put this giant thing on the back of it. Okay, now it's a bigger plane that doesn't look very aerodynamic. Great. So yeah, I want that. But I think the Fallen is something that I'll probably get peer pressured into once you guys all get it and you're all like, look at it, it's cool, and the blast effects actually mean something, and woo. I think I'll probably end up with it. The primes don't really mean a whole lot to me, so I'm not really that concerned with them. But I do have a little bit like Mark's voice in my head saying, you have to collect them all. This is your chance. But why do I care about the 13 primes? I'm not as vicious about it as like Paul, but I do wonder why I care about the 13 primes.
Well, the funny thing is, I don't know. We're discussing it with Paul before, and, I'm like, oh, is it going to sell well and whatever, right? Like, the primes were the thing that sold out first on Pulse. Now, I don't know if that means that, whatever. Pulse probably attracts a lot, like more of a hardcore demographic. So I don't know if like at Amazon or Target or whatever, if the primes are selling out the same way that they would there, but I was still somewhat surprised that, between those and Silverbolt and Grimlock and all that, the primes are the thing that sold out first.
Yeah, they were, and that's interesting. Did that include Star Convoy?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Okay, I'm just curious.
I didn't check
So
one.
What do you guys think? Then I really wish Christian was here for this question. What do you guys think of the shift to Neo Titans? So a smaller Titan size and a price that goes back a couple years in Titan pricing. We're back to the $160 price point, and we're down to 14 inches. What do y'all think?
I mean, Christian said he's excited for it. I echo that sentiment. I think there's a lot of toys that Commander class would have been maybe a little too small for, and Titan class would have been a little too big for, that we're all hankering for, whether it's a new rail racer or we can do a Gigatron in that scale, or Road Caesar. Just there's a lot you can do at that price point that is exciting.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I'm excited for that. I honestly have kind of like run out of space for the huge Titan figures, and because of that, I have not gotten the last Titans. I think that the Guardian Robot and Black Zarek are the last Titan figures that I got. Oh. No, the Arc. I got the Arc as well, but then I didn't get the Nemesis. I didn't get Cybertron Metroplex, and the biggest reason is that I'm just out of space, and so I'm excited for them to be able to cover some of those characters, because like there's those huge ones. I'm not sure that there's a lot of figures that I'm still like clamoring for, that I would rather, like you said, Phil, get some of that. I think Overlord, like if they did him at that scale as well, would be a good pick too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we can keep going. I mean, you could do Leo Kaiser as a combiner, that's got his own distinct transformation versus trying to force him into a combining pattern that the other ones have. I mean, that could be a really cool place to get Seacons, even though they're kind of Scramble City. You do have 6 of them. The Combiner War Seacons is still like a really, really good version of those, those toys. But yeah, there is just a lot of real estate. The Tripredicus, the Magnaboss from Beast Wars, the build team, from the first RID. And I just look at, like, I'm looking at my combiners right now across the room. Sorry, not my combiners, my Titans across the room. And yeah, they're shrinking, man. I mean, Tidal Wave it's a fun toy, but he is definitely like a head or so smaller than like Fort Max and Metroplex. So it's like, I'd rather see them kind of restart this like they're doing, versus shrinking Titans that are also shrinking in terms of popularity and demand.
I really love Tidal Wave, and it did get smaller, and it did feel like an overprice. Like, quite honestly, like paying for it was just like, this costs more than it should. But then I got it, and like I was able to have that like moment where I'm like most of you guys, where it's just like, oh, I'm not thinking about the price anymore because I just love this so much. Because usually it's so hard for me to disconnect from the price point. I don't know. Like, if they really go the route that you guys just delineated of getting me the combiners that we've been missing, like the Magnaboss and the Tripedicus and Road Caesar times 1,000, like that would be exciting to me. If this is just a way to get slightly XL combiners, or sorry, a slightly XL commanders up to $160, then I'm not going to be too happy. So we're just going to have to see where it goes.
Yeah, well, Talib brings up too that, they said, hey, or these Neo Titans prove that we paid too much for Starsaber and Dosaurus. I don't know, like those still were premium products. I feel like I don't necessarily know that they would have done them as nice if they would have done these at the Titan price point or whatever. I don't know. I mean, again, that Star Optimus Prime or whatever, Star Convoy, like, is super nice, but
I think
I don't know.
he looks on par with Starsaber, like a little better. I think he looks worse than Deathsaurus.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of in between. Deathsaurus really looks like a premium product. Like, I just think they hit a point with that HasLab. I don't personally, and I've barely seen it in person, but I don't really think the Unicron ever looked premium. It was just an unwieldy figure that wouldn't have fit in any price time, and it's very complicated. So like it never had like a premium finish to it, but it definitely is a, very complex, very large figure. Whereas Starsaber just really did feel like a commander. Like, it really felt like a commander figure to me. It didn't look premium. It didn't feel premium. It just felt like, here's your commander and a Voyager. And you paid a little more than, the market retail for that. And it's a little bit of a bummer. But,
I don't know. I mean,
anyway.
I feel like Starsaber, the Masterpiece, I almost felt that way too. That it, I don't know, it was just, it's always such a plain figure. Like, there wasn't a lot of paint on it and everything. And so I don't know, like, I actually kind of enjoyed the HasLab just because, and I don't know, we've talked about this before, but
yeah.
I enjoyed that just because I had lowered expectations for the Masterpiece figure. Like, I just was never a huge fan of that. It was fine.
It's just
not great.
I think too, what you have with some of those figures, and Star Convoy does this to a good extent. That Starsaber did, is you have like really unique transformation kind of things going on and combination sort of things going on that you're not going to be able to just slap a coat of paint on it and reissue it, sort of thing, as Nemesis Star Convoy Star. I mean, I don't know, that kind of would be cool, because then you can get if he came with a shattered glass Rodimus Micromaster, that'd be fun. Anyways, I'm getting off the rails here, but it's one of those things that Starsaber / Victory Saber, just, he did come with so many ways you could interact with him. That's hard to do with even the Commander class price point, I'd say.
Yeah.
And Deathsaurus is just that metallic finish that they put on his crest and the wings / like chest embellishments. That makes it look like a really premium, toy there.
It does, yeah. I think it's a really premium looking and feeling toy. It feels very, very good too. Whereas the Starsaber never specifically felt good to me in hand.
Starsaber, I think, again, suffers because he has to do so much in terms of transformation. Deathsaurus doesn't have to lift as much when it comes to his transformation.
I'd like it if he didn't have trash shoulders. Good old Starsaber. But anyway, I digress.
To me, like, they're asking about defining premium, right, in the chat, like Zeldron is. And,
yeah,
like, I feel like that Optimus Prime that just came, the Commander class Optimus Prime that just came out, like, is an example of that. Like, where you hold a figure and you're like, it does not look like that they took any, like, they didn't cut any corners on that. And so, like, I do think, yeah, you could probably argue that the Starsaber, that maybe they, whatever mechanism, they couldn't figure out a cost-effective way to make the shoulders work the way that they wanted to. Just because of the parts count and whatever. Whereas Deathsaurus, like, is not as complex of a figure. It's not two figures in one. And so, like, it was, they were able to kind of, like, make it a little more quote-unquote premium.
Deathsaurus was 3 figures in one.
Well, I mean, I don't know. It's not the same.
He had his kitty cat and his birdie. And both of those are better choice than Starsaber. Anyway.
Star Saber does have his brain.
He does have his brain, and he has the little saber. It's true. 4 figures in one in that box.
Bingo.
Technically 5 and 6 if you count the Micromasters, but
yeah. And Death Stars also had his little antagonists.
Has anyone happened to bring up about Star Convoy and the fact that we already got one in whatever the heck?
So here's my question.
That was a Gen Selects, right?
Yeah. So here's my question about Star Convoy, right? There's the Gen Selects. I don't know how valuable that one is on the secondary market. I have a feeling it's probably pretty bad. Or it was until this new one got revealed. But so you have that one, and then you have MMCs, right? People kind of forget about MMCs because it was a really oddball figure. Mm-hmm. But the MMC figure is actually less money than the new Titan, an inch shorter, and I don't know, like, which is the better route to go if you want it? Because, like, to be frank, Star Convoy doesn't really go with anything, right? There are very few characters in Battle Stars for him to go with. So it's not like your MMC figure is going to go with your collection correctly any less than the new one. So what is the route to go? The MMC one is not a playset, and the Titan is a playset. And that's the big difference.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Like, I'm assuming the MMC one didn't have the little Micromaster Rodimus and doesn't have a little playset and whatever that this one does. But
and this one has a camper.
This one has the little van. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the MMC one came with none of that, right? You just get your battle truck that turns into a giant man, a relatively simple figure. And, some people, Rob specifically on the show, has said that it doesn't feel as like fancy and premium as most of MMC stuff. I don't know. I've wanted it since it came out, and I still haven't gotten one. Just because Star Convoy is not a priority character to me. Because Battle Stars isn't exactly something I fan over. I'm super excited about Battle Stars.
Yeah, it's got a pretty niche audience.
It does. And as someone who's actually read it, fine.
I mean, you have people saying, well, now we need a Grandis. It's like, this is a corner of the Transformers world that if we only got one actual official Hasbro representation of that corner of the Transformers world, I think most people would be pretty okay with that.
I don't know, seeing a Grandis and weird stuff like that and Sky Gary and all that would be neat. I think it would be cool.
Not saying it would be neat. It would be cool. It's just that's a corner that they don't need to pay much attention to.
I just think Japanese G1's going to come out at the rate Armada is. It's just like a little sprinkle. It's like, here's your Armada. And I think it's also, here's your Japanese G1, just kind of sprinkled in there. And that's why we need to keep the oddballs coming in, right? We can't just stick to the primes. We got to have the oddball generation stuff. So I do get my 2 or 3 Japanese G1 figures, and Christian gets his 2 or 3 Armada Trilogy figures, and we're both happy. And then I complain about everything I get.
Well, I think it's just easier for them to justify a Star Convoy than it is a Sky Gary or Grandis or whatever.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know.
It's a convoy.
The amount, just the fact that it's a bigger figure, I think it would be prohibitively, I don't know. It'd just be hard for them to do, I feel like. Although, I say that, and they've surprised us with a lot of the figures that they've released. So
yeah. Yeah, I think Star Convoy is it's a good way to start this price point, starting it with an Optimus Prime toy. Because then you have your Star Optimus Prime, and, that for your Optimus Prime collectors, it's going to get them. For your kids who want the hero, it's not going to get them because it's $160. But it's got the appeal of being an Optimus Prime to introduce a new price point. I think that's always a good strategy for them to use. And it looks pretty good. The playset part of it really does. That's what gets me to think like it's in competition with the MMC. Otherwise, I don't like how it looks by comparison. It's just got those like humongous, goofy looking legs.
Which is true to the original design. So, yeah.
It's true to the toy. Is it true to
Yeah.
the art? I'm asking myself and I'm looking.
But like Zaldron and Ron in there, Talib talking about the premium versus not premium. I think it'll be interesting when we get Omega Prime here in a couple months, how that's going to compare to Star Convoy in terms of, do we feel like we overpaid for these two toys that are coming out at roughly the same time, and different, little higher price point for Omega Prime.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we feel, because a lot of people, when they did the reveal for Omega Prime, they visually couldn't really see a difference between that and the original. And like Christian and I kind of poked fun at those people at the time. But, now thinking back to it and imagining what it's going to look like in my hand in 15 years, whenever I finally get it, I really don't think it's going to look particularly premium. I think it's going to look very good. I think it's going to be a very fun set, and I think it'll be 1,000 times more stable than God Magnus was in the original release. So, that's all very good. But I don't think I'm going to look at it and be like, these are premium figures. I think I'm going to look at it and be like, those are guys I like on my toy shelf.
To be fair, when they had to re-release that figure, the original one, how much was that thing?
It got worse.
So, yeah.
It was expensive and it was a disaster. So,
right.
It was needed. A refresh of that was needed. And we also get blue bolts, which is really cool. That giant atrocious gun got turned into a transformer. Biggest target master? I don't know. So that's pretty neat. Anyway, yeah, I think this is a strong set. I think it's really cool. I'm glad that we're getting the figures that we're getting. I think the primes is an interesting direction to go. I'm not super excited for the primes, but some people are. And good toys on the shelf is always good. And I think that all three of the primes so far qualify as good toys. I'd say Solus in the Fallen probably qualifies great toys by pictures. And Primo looks good. Not great, but good. So I'm excited for it.
I mean, at the end of the day, I think the only one of these I won't eventually get is probably Waspinator. Just because, I don't know. I mean, I liked the show. I liked RID. I just, it's like, all right, it's a Bumblebee repaint with a new head, and it doesn't do a ton for me. But I ordered today the Aerial Bots and Megatronus and Sonic and Tails.
What's
that?
I'm going to be Christian for you and say, so you liked RID, but how did you feel about animated? That's where Wasp is from.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I misspoke.
I just had to be. I just had to fill in for Christian since he's not here.
No, I really liked animated a lot. And just, I don't know, the storyline with Waspinator was cool. It just is. I think I would rather have a Cliff Jumper than Waspinator, and we'll probably get it. I don't know. That it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way that they turned him into a Bumblebee clone in RID. I get why they did it, Wasp and Bumblebee kind of thing, two different, two of the similar things, and then they turned him into his mutated monstrous, form, which was, I'd much rather get a new toy of that. I'd much rather get a new toy of the mutated monstrous Waspinator after Black Arachnia got her claws into him than this fugitive Wasp that we're getting right now. The fugitive Wasp is just, it's kind of cool colors. I know where it's coming from. The head's neat, but it doesn't do much.
I get your point.
Yeah, but again, I'm gonna wait till Solus and Prima go on sale. Red Alert goes on sale. I mean, but Megatronus was like freaking order that thing. And then Superions were my first combiner as a kid. Like I got that, Aerial box set for Christmas one year. So yeah, those guys always have a pretty warm spot in my heart.
Yeah, funny is like we haven't really talked about the G2 Grimlock at
Oh
all. So
no.
I ended up ordering him, but I don't know. I kind of almost feel like I have a little bit of Grimlock fatigue with how many of that mold's already come out. I don't know. I like the G2 Dinobots. I'm gonna pick them up probably, but I feel like that's the one I'm like least excited about. Just because I am kind of more excited about all this other stuff that's coming out. Because like all the other stuff is new. Like that's obviously a repaint of the same mold that we've seen quite a bit already. So
I had a bit of a Peter moment with that one because I do actually have a big childhood connection to that Grimlock, specifically the blue G2 Grimlock.
mm-hmm.
And I still have my childhood toy. So it's like, that's what I wanted, right? I want to have my childhood toy still. I don't really want an homage to it. And
Mm-hmm.
I have it, I also have the hand painted, what is his name? I always remember his name. The Fans
The Fans
Hobby,
Project. Fans Project.
Grimlock, or Fans Project. Yeah, the Fans Project Grimlock. What is his name? It's with an S. It's I can't remember it. I usually do. Anyway, I have that hand painted one from TFCon, which is a cool thing to have. So, that's enough G2 Grimlock for me, probably.
Mm-hmm.
I also got the Fans Project Tiger Stripe one too, the yellow and blue one. So
yeah, that is a fun mold. I almost Rob had all of those Fans Project Dinobots that he was selling at TFCon, and I was honestly tempted to be like, all right, I'm just gonna buy them all back. But,
I wish I would have known because I would have asked him to get me his Snarl.
Oh,
I still never got it.
Well, so the Snarl one, that is the one that like actually retained its value because it was so hard to find. So yeah, he actually had that price over $100, I think. But
ooh, I hope he got his bounty for it.
He did, yeah. No, he sold it.
I heard everyone sold everything, so it's good.
To me, the thing that was most exciting about the G2 Grimlock was the repaint of the wheelie.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun that they did it.
Yeah. So not worth it for me to get that.
I wish that they would have re-released the core wheelie in those colors. Like I just don't really like that slug all that much.
And who's to say they won't? But yeah.
Yeah, true.
Because it's comic colors for him, right? That's what they were going for.
Is it comic or like storybook or something like that? It's obviously not animation. I just can't quite remember the original source material.
I thought it was comic colors, but I didn't care, so I didn't encode it too hard.
So, well,
it's
overall
fine,
though, I think it was pretty strong. It would have been nice if we would have gotten this as a live stream, but hey, I'm sure those guys over at Hasbro Asia and over in China or whatever appreciated the convention. So
can I ask, like, why would it matter if it's a live stream or a pre-record like this?
Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter. It would. I think, like Christian said, if it would have been nice if they would have had someone else there for him to play off of.
Yeah, I said that because I just don't think Mark did. I think. I like Mark. And I think he typically does a really great job of showing enthusiasm and love for his job. I just don't think he's a salesman. So I think having the marketing guy came in at the very end to be like, here's the release schedule. I think the marketing guy should have been there the whole time to hype the please buy this side. So Mark could just be like, we homage this little thing from this one episode because that's what he's really good at.
Right.
It's just telling us, where everything comes from and respecting everyone who helped him on the project. So, yeah. Anyway, I just thought the one-man show for Mark didn't work as well. But that doesn't matter because all it really matters is the toys and they're there.
Yep. So, all right. Well, thank you guys for joining me tonight. And
Glad to be
want to
here.
mention book club is going to be Sunday night on the 15th at 8:30 Central on the TF Talk Discord, and you're discussing Lio Convoy and imminent danger. What is that?
Some sort of Beast Wars thing from some sort of Japan.
Okay. Fair
some
enough.
sort of movie cartoon.
So yeah.
I haven't been keeping up lately.
It's an episode of our
no. Now that you're on the 9:30 instead of the 8:30, you're
Yep, it's just too late for me with my East Coast schedule. Too hard.
But kudos to Anna and what she built there that is able to continue autonomously without her.
I'm glad. Yeah. And I'll be back there.
So, all right. Well, thank you guys. Thank you to everyone in the chat. And we'll see everyone next week.
Thanks, everyone.